Listen, everybody needs a fairy godmother, just somebody to look out for them. Some people call me their fairy smoke mother, others their internet big sister, but you can call me Hannah, the host of Smoke Sesh. So come hang out, let's light up and talk everything there is to life. The good, the bad, the ugly, the embarrassing. I've got a story for it all. Oh my goodness, you guys, welcome freaking back to the Smoke Sesh podcast. Sorry if you're watching this on video if I look like a ghost. Wow, it is time to start self-tanning because my white dress really does just completely blend into my skin. It's kind of shocking. I don't know, I got back home from horseback riding lessons this morning and I was like, what the fuck to do? Do I do my hair? Do I do my makeup? No, keep the hat on, the camo hat, and throw on a frilly white dress. Absolutely serving Midwest princess today, serving country girl realness. And that's kind of just the vibe I am on today, since it is, it's been my horseback riding lesson day. I actually went there and volunteered some more time. It was really nice to just be around the horses, chatting with the owners, being around people who care about life and show love to the people around them. It was just a breath of fresh air that I needed because is this a safe space? You guys, is this a safe space? I had a very hard weekend. If I'm being frank, I'm in a pretty dark place right now. You're like, wow, you're so upbeat in saying that. Yeah, it is what it is. Having mental illness, having mental disorders, living with depression, because ultimately it is something that I live with and deal with, not on an everyday basis, sometimes an every second basis, but it really does ebb and flow. I did hit a low point this weekend that just wasn't fun. It wasn't fun. So I'm kind of trying to take my time and regroup and get myself, what most would say, back on track. But I think that makes me feel like I'm behind. So I'm going to kind of re-narrate it and say just back to feeling like myself. Because truly and honestly, when I am in the throes of my depression, I feel completely out of control and I definitely don't feel like Hannah. So it is nice to be back on this podcast and back in my usual routine, chilling with you guys, committed to growth, committed to goodness, committed to, just seeing the light in things with you guys. I think it will help me feel better. And I do really appreciate every single one of you guys who listen to this podcast. I think we lean on each other in a very similar way. I don't know if you guys play this whenever you need a distraction or a laugh or an uplifting voice, whatever it may be. I also use this podcast the same exact way. It is truly like such an escape from life, getting to connect with you guys and sit down and escape maybe the chaos of my internal world and distract myself a little bit with maybe the chaos of your guys' internal world. But that's okay. It's a really beautiful community that we have built here. And I know I say it a lot, but genuinely, it does take me getting to a low point to realize how much this does really mean to me. And this podcast means everything to me. I think you guys probably know that since I've been doing it for so long. But I do want to reiterate it. If you guys listen every single week, if you support me, if you're a Patreon member, it means the fucking world. I pour my heart and soul into this. And I don't really do it for recognition. That's not what I'm here for. Like I said, this is like a coping mechanism almost of mine. A nice, healthy escapism tool. And truly, honestly, I hope that you guys can find some sort of peace and joy through this podcast the same way that I do. So before we start, I want to extend just some love to you guys, especially if you did not feel it this weekend. I know coming out of Valentine's Day, you're probably like, oh, but you talk about love and joy and a good time and all that stuff and how important it is, and you're depressed after Valentine's Day. Yeah. I think some people are left disappointed after Valentine's Day. And I spent a majority of my life as a woman being like, oh, Valentine's Day, Schmalentine's Day, it's just another corporate fucking blah, 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 blah. And then I realized, no, it does matter, And it matters especially so when maybe you don't feel special every single day. The day where you are supposed to be uplifted and special, when you don't feel that way, or you feel like a second choice or just an obligation, it definitely is not the best feeling to walk away from that with. So I wish I had more of an uplifting message post Valentine's Day. I wish you guys had the best time ever, whether it was alone or with your partner. Either way, if you're feeling the way that I feel now, though, I see you, I recognize you, and your feelings are valid. Your feelings are absolutely valid, okay? Because like I said, not only is it important to feel special every single day, but the one day where you're like, this is like the special day, the special person day, the love day, of course, that's when you're wanting to be thought of the most. It's like birthdays and Valentine's Day. Get it right. Get it together. Anyways, I wish there was like more details I could really dive into, but like I said, not a lot happened. Me and my boyfriend were supposed to celebrate before Valentine's Day. I don't really care about the day of. It's just like, okay, what's our special day? And especially working in the restaurant industry, Valentine's Day, I don't pass up Valentine's Day often. You know, I'm usually clocked in working because it's like, let me make that Valentine's Day shmoney. These people are in love. Let me get those tips. Like, let me be your wingman, whatever it takes. I like it. Like I said, the day doesn't matter as long as you have a special day with your person. So we were supposed to celebrate like the Thursday or something before. And the Patreon girlies know. All I asked, I know I don't complain a lot on this podcast. This isn't even complaining. This is just the reality of what happened. I was like, I want to go to the art museum and I want to go out and have pasta. And yeah, that just did not happen. And so I actually spent the Valentine's Day I was supposed to be with my partner with the Patreon girlies. So we definitely had a good ass fucking time there. That's for sure. Like I said, love having this as an escape outlet. And then, yeah, kind of last minute ended up seeing Wuthering Heights. And I will say it's worth a watch. Is it accurate? Is it exactly what she wrote down in that book? No, absolutely fucking not. Absolutely not. And I haven't read Wuthering Heights. I thought about reading it before this adaptation. And then I was like, no, this adaptation is going to be kind of completely and utterly different. So it's like not really worth it. I don't really want to do the comparing and contrasting in my head. Like I'll read the book once I see the movie because in my brain, I'm kind of visualizing them as two very separate identities. And they definitely were. So if you're looking for an accurate portrayal, don't go in for that. Go in for some like weird, kinky, fucking like Tumblr-esque aesthetics. Love Margot Robbie, love Jacob Elordi, love seeing them tongue kiss. Like what's worse than that? Also the use of fog in that movie, fantastic, amazing. I only gave it 3.5 stars on my Letterboxd. It definitely was giving toxic situationship. So I guess if you need a cathartic movie to watch about your toxic situationship, great, amazing. You'll probably sob at the end. I don't know why you wouldn't. It is very dramatic and sad. No spoilers, obviously. But go into it with the mind frame that this movie was created to be posted as 18 different Tumblr GIFs that are aesthetic, that are raunchy, that are sexy. And if you go in with that kind of mindset and not a direct translation, I think you'll have a fun time enjoying the movie. Like I said, we got to manage our expectations. We got to manage our expectations. And with the Wuthering Heights movie, you got to take it as what it is, which is just a fun little ride. A fun little Jacob Elordi ride. Speaking of that man, ooh, his slutty little gold earring in that movie. Yeah, if you want to stare at Jacob Elordi, go see that movie. It was pretty good. It was worth going to the theater and seeing, that's for sure. I've definitely seen movies and been like, that wasn't fucking worth it. It was aesthetically pleasing. People were aesthetically pleasing. I enjoyed the vibe of it all. It was good. Great, amazing, award-winning? No, absolutely not. But good nonetheless. And then, yes, all day Valentine's Day, I worked, which was just kind of hell on earth, but like a distracting hell on earth. So Can't really complain about it. Time's flown by. It's Monday now. Well, Tuesday when you're listening. Year of the horse, if you're listening to this on Tuesday, has begun. First year of the Chinese New Year. Do not wash your hair. Do not throw away your trash. Do not clean your house. Now is not the time to do so. Let shit rest and settle, okay? Especially with the energy that's coming into this next year. And the second day of the new year, you can go ahead and do that. But the first day, don't throw out your wealth. Don't throw out your blessings. Do some if you're into rituals or witchcraft or any of that, some fun stuff, do some prosperity rituals. Do some money rituals. It's all you really need to do. But the first day of the new year, I think it's a great day to just chill the fuck out. And that's what I'll be fucking doing. I think I'm going to yoga and enjoying my day, hopefully. The sun is out. It's shining. I spent way too much time up at the ranch today. But like I said, mama needed a little distraction. And today's going to be a little bit of a different episode. It's definitely going to be a bit rambly, but I think it's a good one. We haven't done a solid topic episode in a while. And if there's one thing I've learned from the Patreon girls' questions this week, everybody's kind of suffering. Everybody's suffering by their own hands, maybe, or maybe by others or circumstances. But everybody's kind of suffering. And I talked about this. The first 3 months of the new year, okay? January, February, March, sometimes into mid-April, depending on how the weather goes. It's the era of chaos. It's the era of transformation. It's the era of endings, We think of the new year, January 1st, as being the new year has begun. Fresh beginnings, new energy. But in reality, if you look at it from a spiritual sense, from a full perspective sense, the Lunar New Year doesn't even happen till mid-February. The astrological New Year doesn't happen till early mid-March. There's a lot of new beginnings and lots of endings happening through the months of January, February, March that I think it throws people off their game a little bit, where they enter the new year, January 1st, we're yes, new beginnings, fun, amazing, wonderful. And then the chaos happens because we're in our chaos era. And it really throws people for a loop where they feel like they're starting their new year off on a bad foot. The things that they manifested for the new year aren't happening. It's just the chaos era. There truly is something about the energy of the first 3 months of the year. Don't expect normal things to happen. You got to be prepared for everything. It was this time last year that my cat was going through stuff. My car got stolen, multiple car break-ins, craziness everywhere. Hectic. So the best thing we can do during this time is stay patient with ourselves, kind with ourselves, understanding if we're in positions of suffering or whatever we may be having it. If there's endings we feel coming up, try and approach them with grace and understanding and go forth in the direction that you feel like you need to go forth in if you have the strength to do so. But if you feel oh, wow, I'm cursed by the universe, maybe it's just February or March or whatever month it may be. Maybe it is just a different energetic ending happening during this chaos era, which will then push us into a fantastic era. In my opinion, the chillest era of the year is May, June, July. April, May, June, July. That kind of time frame. Early summer, late spring, things are feeling good, fresh, renewed, hopeful, energetic. Everything's blooming. The trees are looking wonderful. The birds are chirping and singing. And we can only have that peace if we go through the chaos of what the first 3 months truly are in the new year. If we learn those lessons, if we learn how to stand true beside ourselves and our beliefs and stay strong within ourselves and power through whatever the world throws our way, then we will be able to reap those blessings of that early summer, late spring. But we must get through this time frame to be able to enjoy the blessings that are on their way. And that's one thing that's really keeping me going. For me personally, I am not having a lot of external chaos, external chaos that I was last year, where things felt just out of my control and I wasn't really focusing on me because it was too much having to focus on things around me. But this year it's a bit different. I'm definitely having some internal battles and internal chaos. And to be frank, most of the depression that I've gone through in this life has been caused by myself. And to be honest, sometimes that's the worst kind, because we can be our own biggest haters. We know our deepest, darkest flaws. We know what words will really hurt. We know how to be evil to ourselves because we know ourselves. So sometimes that self-induced, depression really, really fucking sucks and hurts, because we are our own biggest bullies sometimes. But there is that depression that is sometimes triggered by outside factors that's even harder to deal with, because you're kind of like, damn, I was doing everything right. I was doing exactly what I was supposed to be doing. I was doing this. I was doing that. I was going to yoga. I was on track. I was going to work. I was paying my bills. Like, I was doing good. And then boom, it's like your legs just get swept out from underneath you. And it's kind of like you're sitting in the fucking dirt. Your ass is wet. And you're like, well, shit. It's like, I didn't want to be here. I've been doing good. I've been doing my best. I'm not being my own biggest hater. I'm not putting myself in this position. Somebody else is, or something else is. And that, it's hard. I will say it's easier to get out of than the self-inflicted stuff, but it's hard nonetheless. And it sucks because it's like, damn, I wish I didn't have this many triggers. To be fair, I don't have a lot of triggers, but I don't know. My biggest trigger, I just want to be loved. And I didn't feel that until it was too late. And I don't want to always be the too late girl. I feel like I'm sometimes the too late, the one that got away, the this or the that, the, I forgot about you, the youngest child syndrome, 10 years youngest child, like kind of just tagging along. Oh yeah, Hannah's here, forgot about her. That's like a wound that I'm really trying to work with and deal with. And I think I didn't realize how deep it really stung until it does kind of come to the little things that start happening or piling up that makes you realize it. But yeah, I really am just like, all right, let's dig ourselves out of that hole, babe. Let's stand up. Let's be our own best friend. Let's get back on the horse. Okay, year of the horse starting up. And it sucks to have to constantly pick yourself up, or to be the person to pick yourself up. Sometimes it's like, damn, I wish somebody else was here to do that. But how beautiful is it to know that we always have ourselves? And yes, we can be our own biggest hater, but also we can be our own biggest cheerleader. We know exactly what it takes to make ourselves happy again, to go after what we need, to go after what we want. And I think there's something really beautiful in that. And thus, I kind of want to talk about, I think this is a great theme for this week, with the Lunar New Year happening, Year of the Horse starting, Aries in Saturn. My my Saturn return has just started. Yeah, I felt that fucking immediately. Thank you so much. I want to get on here and talk about how to keep going, okay? Because I think that's kind of like the hardest thing I struggled with when I was younger, was like, it's bad, I need to give up, okay? I had this mindset where it was like, if it's going wrong, it's going wrong for a reason, and thus I need to give up. And that, listen, it works for some things. Oh, you don't like piano? Okay, cool. Let's try it a couple more times. You don't like it. Let's try something else. In reality, for like real things, tangible things in the real world, sometimes that law truly exists. But when it comes to ourselves, it does not translate correctly. The one thing we can never give up on in this life is ourselves, ever. And it takes work, it takes dedication, it takes time, it takes getting to know ourselves, it takes putting in effort and changing things up, saying yes, saying no. It takes a lot, but the one lesson we're going to talk about today is that it is always worth it. It really, truly is. I find myself fortunate enough now that having gone through so many different like little hard things or big hard things, I'm able to get into that flow state and know that like, even though I've been sobbing for 8 hours, I know that eventually I won't be. There is that quiet understanding. But when you're young and you're going through it for the first fucking time, getting through it feels impossible. It feels impossible. And when all you know is, oh, bad thing, give up, when you try and translate that to yourself, that's when the real self-deprecation and demeaning behaviors really pop out. And I think that's when I hit my lowest point when I was admitted, is because I turned all that hatred and anger from the world onto myself, and I relished in the pain. I was like, okay, this is how I'm supposed to be feeling. This is the only feeling I know. Let's keep self-inflicting this feeling, because truly and honestly, it's easier to make yourself feel pain than it is to make yourself feel happy. And when you don't have a lot of energy, or you don't have a lot of just like internal drive, it is much easier to self-inflict pain and self-inflict suffering than it is to try and pick yourself up and make yourself happy. Honestly, it's the easiest, cheapest dopamine you can get, is just like hating on yourself in your own head. So if you find yourself in that position, please know it does. It literally, it fucking will get better. I promise you. I know right now you're like, how, why? We'll get into it. But the basis understanding is it will get better. It will get better. Low key, we're 20 minutes in. I might smoke a bowl with you guys. Fuck it. And just like hit my flow state. You guys want to smoke? Sometimes I do lean into weed a little bit when I'm depressed. Probably not the healthiest coping mechanism ever. It's not vodka shooters anymore. But I do think it helps me enter this like focused brain state of, let's pause, let's slow our brain down, and let's address everything that we're feeling, one thing at a time. So fuck it. Let's go ahead. Let's smoke. I'm going to get my little fairy bong out. Let's take a rip and let's get into it. And also, don't judge me for how dirty my bong is. Now is not the time for a lecture. When a girl's been going through it, her bong's going to be dirty. It is what it is. Give me a couple days. She'll be clean and brand new. But let's hit this. Cheers. You know what? I'm such a cool fucking bitch. Sometimes you just gotta like realize what the fuck is going on. White linen dress, pink Red Bull, ripping a fucking fairy bong. That's literally me as a bong. Camo hat, Chapel Roan vibes, living my best life. Still have dirt on my hands from working with the horses. I'm like, I need to go ahead and like verbalize this. And this is a good practice I think you guys need to pick up as well. Especially when maybe you're feeling low, or you're like, how the fuck do I get back on track? I literally can't speak positively of myself. Sometimes you gotta just pause and like look at the situation around you and be like, actually, no, I'm really fucking cool, or I'm really hot, or I'm so smart. I'm so smart. Sometimes I cause fucking hell on earth in my head, but I'm so smart. I'm so sexy. I'm so beautiful. You can believe it or not, okay? But sometimes it just needs to be said out loud. Right now, as a distraction method, I'm working on something really fun and cool for you guys for fingers fucking crossed 420, around 420. So stay tuned for that. No, it's not probably what you're thinking of, but I think it's going to be really fucking fun. If you want to take guesses down below, go ahead. Would love to hear from you. I'm feeling better, but I definitely hit that point where it was like, okay, you're finding yourself at a crossroads here. And this is kind of like usually how I feel it happening with myself now. In the past, it felt very out of control. It felt like usually the method to the madness, like if I was going to force myself into a depression right now, it would look like this. It would be like, okay, stop doing your hobbies, stop going outside, stop interacting with people, up the phone time. 9, 10, 11, 12 hours. Stop responding to friends and family. Consume horrible content, substance abuse, verbal internal abuse. Bam, that's your recipe for depression. I think sometimes knowing what in the psych ward they would call triggers, but I think that sometimes is too simple, but like your downward spiral, what that looks like for you helps you upward spiral. So all the things I wasn't doing, I needed to start incorporating again, because I knew just how much they meant to me. Or the things that I was doing, which was not good, I needed to wean myself off of. I feel like sometimes the recipe for disaster is also the recipe for success if you invert it. So if you're like, Hannah, all I know is being evil and awful to myself, I don't know how to be good to myself. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. All of those like negative coping behaviors, negative internal battles, negative self-talk, you flip that on its head, do the exact opposite, I guarantee that is how you start to feel better. And easier said than done. I mean, when you're in the lowest position possible, I'm talking like bed rotting, ulcers, not brushing hair, like greasy grease ball. I feel you. Been there, done that. There was a point in time in my teens where all of my hair matted into one giant dreadlock because I was just so depressed I couldn't take care of myself. I feel you. When you're there, getting up and like painting, going to yoga is so unfathomable. It's like, what the fuck are you saying to me right now? So I understand sometimes there's different advice for where you are. And sometimes the advice that I would give a normal person who's like in an average headspace of, yeah, paint, go to yoga, go to your classes, do this, do that, call your mom, whatever it may be. Sometimes it doesn't translate when you're in your lowest point possible because, bitch, I can't even brush my teeth. How the fuck do you think I'm going to pick up a paint brush and create? Okay? So sometimes baby steps are big steps, you know, when you're in that low spot, even just like changing your sheets to rot for 5 more days. Great. It's a step forward. But there was nothing more that would piss me off when I was in treatment than when I would be sitting with my therapist and they're like, okay, let's brainstorm some like self-care. And it's like, bitch, self-care? There is no self to care for. Like, what are we talking about here? Like, okay, let me write down running, I guess, but I'm not gonna run, you know? I feel like sometimes people are out of touch with just how low you are. So if simply put, all you can do right now is get up and brush your teeth for the first time in days, I'm proud of you. That's good enough for me. Because in my brain, I understand how hard it is to simply do what most people would consider the small things. In reality, that is such a big step. So whatever steps you need to take, no matter how big and small, are important. But I want you to know that that recipe of what you need does exist inside you. I think you know yourself. I think you know yourself. Sometimes it's easy to go like, I don't know myself. That's why I hate myself so much. I think there is this internal knowing of what we desire and what we want. And sometimes we elevate that chaos by not following it or by doing the exact opposite. So like I said, my recipe for disaster, not doing all these things that I need to be doing and not like work things, but like fun things, horseback riding, going for a walk, painting, playing with my cat. Some would say simple, but are massively important things to keep me on track. No matter how big or small, whatever you need to do for yourself, we got to start doing them. I know. You work bettering ourselves, taking care of ourselves. I know. Like I said, the good thing is not always the easiest thing. In fact, it isn't the easiest thing. Easiest dopamine boost you could get right now is, you know, hating on yourself a little bit more or rethinking that situation again or stalking this or checking that. No, it's not gonna feel good, obviously. It's gonna be a short boost of dopamine. If you're gonna gamble, let's gamble in a way that makes sense instead of putting $10,000 on the table on one color and hoping for the best. You know, let's go to the penny slots. That's what I like, okay? I want my luck to be high and my chance of winning to be high as well. And that means, unfortunately, investing in ourselves. It is what it is. There are truths to life, and I've found that the sooner I accepted those truths, especially regarding like feeling confident in myself and finally accepting to like love myself, the easier it got. It was just like, oh, all these people that I admire are doing that, and that's why they're succeeding. Damn, okay, maybe I should be doing that. And then you try it, and then it works. It is what it is. It's the truth to life. There's many different methods to the madness, but accepting where you are is very important as well. I think what caused a lot of my suffering and what causes a lot of my suffering is denial of reality, denial of the, you know, universal truths of just like where I am. No, I'm not depressed. I can't be. No, but I don't have time for this. No, but this. No, but that. No. Sometimes the best thing you can do for yourself is stop and go, I'm having a hard time. Sometimes admitting that is really hard. Sometimes admitting that is really easy, depending on your situation. But I think it's really important to accept where you are. So then you're able to really quantify what you need to do to get there. You know, if you're at ground zero, like the lowest you can possibly get, below ground zero, as low as freaking possible, accepting where you are will help you visualize kind of how far you need to go and what steps you need to take. Maybe if you're at, a good middle point, you're like, damn, I'm just having an off week. You can accept that, be kind to yourself. It's okay, just an off week. If I give myself time and patience and love and understanding, we'll get back to where we need to go eventually. But you'll know just how far the journey might go. The journey, no matter how long, is always worth it. But I think it is good to pause and accept where you are, because sometimes that internal shame and that internal battle can be elevated by desiring something else. Desire, root of all suffering. That's another one of those life truths, unfortunately. It's good to want things for yourself, but in desire, there is lack. And we are trying to lean away from that lack, especially now more than ever. Accept the situation for what it is. Sometimes literally have to look in the mirror and go, I'm hurting right now. This hurts. I'm having a hard time. I'm being mean to myself. This is happening. This is out of my control. Whatever your situation may be, sometimes you just have to literally look yourself in the mirror and go, I'm having a hard time right now. Now, if you need help, I think getting help can be the best thing you can possibly do for yourself, leaning on friends, leaning on family, leaning on professionals, whatever it needs. You need. It is the best thing I've ever done for myself. So please, if that's an option, take that option up. Love it. But accepting where you are is so important in knowing your growth journey. Then you can see, okay, how did I get myself here? Is it out of my control? Was it this? Was it that? Was it trusting this person? Was it relying on this? Was it me hurting myself? Was it me doing this? Hating on myself? Whatever it may be. Forgetting to do my hobbies, forgetting to take care of myself. I just didn't really stay up on top of chores for a week, so I'm feeling overwhelmed with everything I have to do now. What were the causes? What caused that downward spiral? Okay. And then you just slowly work your way up. Sometimes that spiral can be quite long and large. Sometimes that spiral is very simple. Simple cause and effect. Sometimes a little bit more grandeur than that. Either way, I think if you're truly able to remove the emotions, look at a larger perspective of what is going on, you will be able to find the game plan of what you need to do, okay? Or at the very least, the game plan of how to get to a better place emotionally. Now, another universal truth, nobody's gonna fucking do that for you. No one's gonna pop open your fucking brain like a hat, okay? Dig around in those fucking wet folds of your brain. Ew, but like sometimes I wish, hello. No one's gonna go, oh, yes, I saw that. Or, oh, yes, I know that. Oh, yes, you stopped doing this. Here's the answer. Here's what you want on a silver platter. Yes, I'll behave this way. Yes, I'll do this. No one will do that. I mean, they might if you ask, thus I say, get help, like if you really truly need it. But like also asking for help is you being there for yourself, and then people are able to show up for you. No one's going to come save you on horseback, but you can save yourself. And the only person who's going to be there for you is going to be yourself. Whether it's, okay, I'm finally being there for myself by asking for help. Okay, I'm finally being there for myself by doing what I've always wanted to do. Okay, I'm finally being there for myself by switching up my situation. Okay, I'm finally being there for myself by trying to think differently. Finally being there for myself by leaving this person. Whatever it may be, only you will be able to recognize and realize. I hate to break it to you. And also, like, don't waste your time trying to make other people realize that as well. I think there's a universal truth in you only know yourself, thus you only know what you can do to kind of remedy your situation. It's the same thing for other people. Like if they don't want to get better, they might not get better. That just might be where they are until they are able to finally come to that conclusion in whatever journey they may be on. So if you find yourself wasting your time trying to convince somebody of A, B, C, or D, or make them see the right way, or like sometimes it just won't happen until we're able to really fully look at ourselves. Now, when you're in a very emotional state, or sometimes it's that numb lack of emotion, which is a very overwhelming emotion nonetheless. It's funny. I remember going to the psych ward for the first time and they're like, how are you feeling? And I was like, numb. And you would think from a different perspective, numb really means like absolutely goddamn fucking nothing. But there was something so overwhelming about the numbness I felt that was just like so interesting to think about how overwhelming what most would think a lack of emotion would be. Emotions can get in the way when we're trying to think critically. Duh. Hello. If it was just my head thinking rationally, there'd be a lot of decisions that I wouldn't have fucking made. You know, emotions really do mess with us sometimes, not in the best way, but also we need them because that's how we experience joy and happiness and self-love and show love to others. We have to find that really good balance of like head, heart, and brain. And when it comes to trying to pull yourself out of a low place, you gotta put on your science cap and you gotta take off that emotional role. The emotions, especially when you're in a dark place, will try and convince you to stay in that dark place because it's an easier emotion to hold on to. So if you listen to them, it's not going to be good. Trust me, I've listened to the emotions, the deep, dark emotions. They do not fucking help you. I'll tell you that. And when you're trying to bring in the good emotions they're not there to lean on. So you must think critically and scientifically when it comes to the position that you're in. I think accepting where you are, looking at it from a broad perspective, takes the personality out of it, you know, kind of removes those emotions in a healthy way where you're able to look at things objectively. And then also to reinforce that scientific way of thinking, looking at the journey you've been on to maybe get here, the causes, the effects, what's happened, writing down what's been hard for you, maybe writing down things you've been struggling with, whether it's internal or external. You're able to see like the journey you've been on, and even more so are able to look at it from a broad perspective, not emotionless, but neutral sense that will help you accept the reality of where you are and hopefully have you accept the next steps you need to take. Able to look at where you are and know the next steps you need to take. Emotions are important, and I'm not saying don't feel the bad emotions. Don't lean into them. It's okay. You don't need to be afraid of your emotions, but we don't need to hold on to them so fucking tight all the time. You know, I have a really hard time with that, especially with negative ones. I think it's the one thing that I've really struggled with the most when it comes to my emotions is the happiness. It comes and goes. When I enter a hard spot, like a really hard emotional place, it is fucking hard to get myself out of there. I think what most people's turnaround time would be is 2 hours. Sometimes for me, it's 2 weeks. I mean, I've had my partner be like, "Oh my God, you're still mad about that. You're still upset by that." And maybe that means we just have different priorities or prerogatives. But mostly for me, it means like, no, when I enter a dark spot, genuinely, I have a very hard time disconnecting from those emotions and leaning into something more positive. It's very hard for me to come out of that. So if there's anybody who can like maybe have a semblance to be able to speak on this and maybe understand the position you are in that is abnormal to what the average human goes through, like, I see you, I understand you, I hear you, I'm here for you. I think right now I really am just speaking on what I've gone through in the past and what I'm trying to implement now more so than ever. And I think I'm able to kind of look at it from a broader perspective because I haven't gone through, like, genuinely, I haven't gone through like a really hard time in a while. I'm lucky that, you know, if you are able to learn about your emotions, learn how to accept and release, look at them from a broad perspective, understand yourself emotionally, your upbringing, kind of really take the time to hone in on yourself and accept yourself unconditionally and love yourself unconditionally, you're able to then, like, in the future, understand the journey of it all and have kind of less super deep dark spots. You know, your everyday balance, your everyday understanding of your emotions, the bandwidth you have to handle chaotic situations. You do kind of become a pro at it. And I've been kind of like walking that tightrope for a while. And I knew, I knew like about a month ago, I was like, I have a feeling like, I don't know, I've been kind of like up and down recently. I have a feeling I'm going to hit a down spot like soon. And so I kind of mentally prepared in the sense where it's like, okay, do our best. Okay, do our best every day. Show up and do our best, whatever that may look like. It might be 100%, it might be 50%, whatever. Do our best. And also be patient and kind to yourself because you do kind of know something's up, something's probably coming. Thus is life, you know. You always got to stay on alert. And for me personally, the first thing I really did when I hit this spot was accept where I was and then feel it the fuck out. It was like, this sucks. I'm breaking out the journal. I'm breaking out the notes app. There is nothing more cathartic than like a notes app brain purge. When I am depressed or feeling very hard, difficult emotions, it is the number one time I journal most. Oh my God, when I'm happy and running around and yes, Hannah's on a high, I'm not breaking out that fucking journal, okay? I'm chilling. Like, I'm having a good time. When I'm depressed, the journal is necessary. And if you haven't journaled before, if you suffer with any sort of like harder emotion, darker emotion, anxiety, depression, whatever it may be, journaling is so important. Absolutely, incredibly important. I'm the kind of person that when I'm going through a hard time, my brain is going a million fucking miles a second. Like I said, numbness, what? Girl, you're thinking 1,000 fucking things all at once. And they're not good, that's for fucking sure. So I kind of tune them out, and maybe that's where the numbness came from. When I'm happy, it's like one track mind. Happy, joy, love, wow, sunshine, rainbow sparkles, joy, amazing. When I'm depressed, it's like just like I can't even spout off what I'd probably be thinking about myself, because it's just like, ooh, let's not bring that up. So to be able to actually like fucking address those emotions and address what you're feeling and slow down enough to do so, journaling is fantastic. There's no way in hell my hand can move as fast as my brain. It's genuinely impossible. It's also a big reason why I love horseback riding, is because when you're working with these animals, there's no time to be in your fucking head about, oh, I'm stressed about this, or oh, this isn't going right. You better be in your boots on the ground, looking at those horses' eyes, aware of their body, working with them, doing deep breathing for yourself so you're chill, so they're also chill. I love it for that reason. Yoga also kind of acts in the same way. Journaling is the most amazing way to be able to do this. If you are depressed laying in your bed right now, you don't even need a pen and paper. Your notes app works perfect. If you guys could see my fucking notes app. Oh, if you could see my notes app. And it's so funny because sometimes I'll be like, let's go through it. I want to see where I was 2 years ago today. I don't use it often, but like I said, when I am really fucking depressed, I use it a lot. And you'll see like multiple writings every day for like a week, or maybe a month, or maybe a couple days in a row. And it's like, what the fuck was she going through right then? No matter how long you think it might last, it doesn't last that long. You will get through it if you put the time and effort into it. Obviously, I'm not doing multiple entries every single day for years and years and years on end. So I think that is like, looking back, it's nice to see, okay, it does kind of go in spurts. And if I really commit to healing and getting the fuck up, like, it does really honestly get better. There's like truth and understanding and simply going through it and then going through it again and then going through it again and being able to look back and see the journey that it takes, or to see that yes, things do get good again. But journaling is so fantastic and it's so underrated. It is. It's so underrated, especially when you're fucking depressed. And you don't have to follow journal prompts. I uploaded a lot of journal prompts, especially on Patreon, because when I'm trying to journal daily, or when I'm trying to kind of like bring out the internal battles, I like a good journal prompt. But if I could encourage you to do anything, it's like, bitch, no one's reading your journal. Okay. And if they do, that's not somebody you should have in your life at all. No one's reading your journal. Your journal is a safe space. You don't have to write in perfect fucking cursive. No one's gonna, dig it up one day and put it in a museum. It's okay. It's okay. Maybe they will. Who knows? But if you want it to really last the test of time, you gotta write down what the fuck your head and your heart is feeling. Don't hold back. Be truthful. Be honest. Sometimes I'll start writing like mid-sentence. Like I won't even write like what would make sense. It's just a stream of consciousness of what's going on in my brain. Not only will it alleviate the 400 voices going on in your head, and yes, you'll have to tackle kind of one at a time per journal session, or sometimes I can tackle like 10 in one go. I'll sit down and journal for an hour. Sometimes I'm just like cussing myself out, or the world. Sometimes you got to get it off your chest. You have to get rid of those thoughts and those feelings so you're not so emotionally overwhelmed in your brain. And your journal If you have a physical one, your notes app, wherever it may be, is an important space to do so, and do so as honestly your first step. Just to understand where you are, understand what you're feeling, process the emotions that simply put are not helping you get better. Anger is one that I think people hold on to for a long time. I know me personally. That is it's going to keep you in that place for longer if you don't simply just get it off your chest. Journaling, it was the first thing I did. Not brushing my teeth or going to yoga or this or that. No, it was journaling, acceptance, journaling, understanding. And then from there, you have a little bit of space. You feel like a sigh of relief a little bit. Post journal session, oh my God, there's no better feeling post journal session. It's okay, maybe the weight of the world is not on my shoulders anymore. Okay, for at least a couple minutes, that's for sure. It gives your brain just a little bit more space to then be able to think about other things, which is then, your coping mechanisms. I need to change my sheets. I need to do that. I need to do this. I need to brush my teeth, comb my hair. Maybe it's a little bit, bigger. Maybe I need to go get groceries. Maybe it's I need to start actually putting myself together for work again. I need to start showing up to work again. I don't know how deep in you are. Doing yoga, going to this class, going on a walk. It's all different. There's different levels to everything. But relieving yourself of those emotions will give you the space and the time and the energy to then be able to implement the coping tools that you will need to lean on a little bit. Now, understanding the emotions is difficult and hard. Maybe they're not revelations you'll have immediately. I think if it's inflicted by somebody else, you got to take your heart out of it a little bit and really look at it logistically of I feel this way because A, B, C, and D, and in the future I need E and F and G, and this needs to change, and this needs to go this way, or else it's just not going to work. Accepting the situation, understanding it fully. When it comes to, in regards to yourself, I think you have to take the pressure off yourself a little bit, look at it realistically. I feel A, B, and C because this happened, or I was treated this way, or it's kind of funny. I kind of work these out on the podcast often. You'll hear me be oh, maybe I'm this way because this and this and this. It's because I have tried to look at it in a really logical sense of understanding, because I think through understanding comes peace. Through knowledge comes peace. Through knowing yourself comes peace. And that means accepting the shitty, hard, fucked up parts of yourself as well. Accepting the demons as much as you accept the angels. You must be willing to see and understand every single part of yourself, because when I was younger, talk about revelations. When I was younger, there was a pressure on me to be a very, very specific certain way. Okay. It was little angel, little amazing daughter. Okay. Youngest of the family, behaves perfectly, gets amazing grades, puts on the cute dresses for Christmas, whatever it may be. Kind, compassionate. It's not that I'm not those things. It's that I'm not only those things. And so when I finally, got a little older and realized, oh, there is evil in the world, and also sometimes the evil is me, ? I had a hard time accepting the self-inflicted chaos I gave myself, because I was unwilling to recognize maybe what is the not good side of myself. If you think about it, depression, the not good side of myself. Yeah, duh, hello. But we as humans, what makes us so amazing and wonderful and beautiful is that there are so many different aspects of what makes us human, and not all of them are good. Not all of them are evil. Some of them are neutral. But there is that duality that I think is very, very important to know that we all inhabit, okay? That we all contain it, no matter what facade people put on. We're all going to be good and bad at some points in our life. To others, to ourselves, who knows to what. But that's just a part of being human. And the sooner you learn to accept it, the less suffering you'll go through. I talk about that in the realm of people making mistakes in relationships, whether it's cheating or doing something bad to another person. It's well, yeah, if you do the bad thing and then refuse to accept that you did a bad thing, you're gonna hate yourself because you don't understand that you can hold duality, and then you're going to keep doing the bad thing instead of being like, damn, I fucked up. I'm taking responsibility. I accept myself fully. Yeah, it's not good, but I do accept that. I'm going to do better. Like I've learned my lesson. I'm going to do better. I'm going to move forward. You're not going to suffer as much because you've looked at it from a very real humanistic perspective. And from there, you're able to actually learn the lesson and move forward accordingly. The shame will keep you down. The shame and unacceptance of yourself will keep you in that place of hatred for longer. And that's just not a worthwhile place to be. Nothing good will ever come out of self-hate, self-shame, looking down on yourself. I've made the worst decisions of my life. I've made the worst choices of my life. I've put myself in the scariest situations. I've treated myself the worst when I was in that place of self-hate and shame. You already are thinking negative things. Of course, you're going to act on negative things. The sooner you accept yourself as a full human being with good and bad sides of yourself, the easier it is to be a balanced being. That's why I think accepting your situation is so powerful, of just like, damn, this sucks. Like, if we don't laugh, we might cry. Damn, this fucking sucks. Not all of life is going to be rainbows and sunshine and butterflies and beautiful. A lot of it is. I will say, a lot of it is. But acceptance is so important. People talk about that true internal peace. How do I achieve that elevated state? How do I bring peace to my life? How do I make it amazing and wonderful? I think people immediately think, oh, I need to be like hyper vigilant about being positive all the fucking time. And I mean, it does help. But when that negative thing comes, you're going to start doubting yourself a little bit more. No, true internal peace comes from acceptance of yourself fully. The good, the bad, the ugly, the embarrassing. It doesn't fucking matter, okay? Full acceptance. That's where that internal peace comes from. Full acceptance has granted me the reality of not having so many lows, I will say. Full acceptance has granted me the reality of also like approaching tough situations with a very, very level and clear head. When I used to go through tiffs or fights with people or whatever it may be, I would immediately, oh, I was a nasty bitch. Oh, you want to get dirty? You want to fight? Okay, we can fight. Yeah. You know what? Bring it the fuck on. I'm my father's daughter. If you want to bring emotions into this, let's get fucking emotional. You know, I can get crazy. We can get crazy. Does it feel good? No, absolutely not. But also I realized, oh my God, it doesn't get me fucking anywhere. It doesn't get me anywhere to lean into that side. Now, being able to accept and know myself and in turn know other people in the world around me, I don't really lean into that when it comes to tips with other people. I really am truly granted the gift of being able to look at things very honestly, and it's made just like going through life easier. It's made standing beside myself easier, standing beside my emotions easier, knowing what I want. The acceptance of it all truly has granted me a life that is pretty balanced, pretty fucking balanced, if I do say so myself. I'm very lucky that nowadays the internal conflict that I do face, or when I am facing a hard time, it is usually inflicted not by myself, but by the world around me. And that can feel very off-putting, or it can make you feel out of control. But in reality, reacting with the world around us is probably we can control that situation. I'm a control freak. I am always like, okay, how can I control this situation? Sometimes in an unhealthy way, most times in a very positive way, because I know I need to work with it instead of work against it. I think when things happen outside of what feels like our control, or not self-inflicted, but inflicted by something else in our environment, we have that inherent panic that kind of sets in, and that makes us behave in very crazy emotional ways. But dare I argue, another truth of life is that we have control on the world around us. We do. Simply by choosing where we want to be. Through choice, that is our control. And we do have choice in this world. I mean, we don't have like all the choice in the world, but we have a good amount of choice in this world. Where we decide to live, you know, the job field we decide to go in, the situations we put ourselves in, the people we surround ourselves with. Like, we have control over that certain environmental factor that I think should bring you a lot of peace. And I think we should be indulging in a lot of like what most would just call free will. So then you're not suffering in the environment that you created, you know? I found myself in positions for a long time, especially when I was younger, where I was just like unnecessarily suffering from my environment. And I became so used to it that I was like, no, this is just how it's low-key. No, this is just how it's supposed to be. I'm just supposed to suffer here. Like, I think that's just how it is. But it's like, no, you do have control over the environment around you. You don't want to be in this fucking college and you hate it and it's soul sucking every day. Let's look elsewhere. Let's apply at different places. You can exert your control. Oh, you're in this toxic ass fucking relationship that's soul sucking every single day. Okay, break up with them. Oh, you have these friends who A, B, C, and D. Okay, leave them, you know, set some boundaries. There is some control we can exert. And I think the more you lean into your free will and the more you take control of it and really like take control of your life and the situations you're putting yourself in, the more you'll realize, okay, the world's pretty freaking good in a grand scheme of things. I know it can feel very heavy at times, but if you try and put yourself in the best situations, you will find yourself in the best situations. There's something beautiful about that. We do have control over our lives in that aspect and the journey we want to take through this life, who we want to surround ourselves with. And I think it sometimes makes accepting when things get chaotic in our environment a little bit easier. You know, you can get more scientific, more, what do they call it? Right brain, left brain, whichever one it is. I don't know if I believe in that, but whatever it may be, you can look at it with a clear perspective. Okay, what's causing it? Is it my environment? Is it this going on? Is this just like a momentary issue? Has this been a long-term thing? It'll help you process it and adjust accordingly. I'm also a girl who just like, I'm very spiteful. And I'm a very fucking spiteful person. And growing up, it's like I'm playing with the neighborhood boys and they throw dirt in my face. I'm throwing that fucking dirt right the fuck back. Actually, a bigger handful. And I'm spitting on them. Just kidding. But yeah, of course. Like a girl's being nasty to me, I'm going to be fucking nasty back. Like, what are we talking about here? I'm a very spiteful person. You do me dirty, I'm not going to do you dirty, but like I'm going to do something really good for myself that makes you then feel bad about yourself a little bit. And I remember, I don't know who I was talking to about this, but I was like, yeah, you know what? I do think I'm pretty spiteful. And they were like, wow, that's like really bad. Like you really shouldn't be that way. And I paused and I thought about it. I was like, oh, she's right. I shouldn't. And then I was like, actually, it might be the fucking only thing keeping me going. Is like, no. Against all odds, I made it here. I'm alive. I'm breathing. I can see. I'm going to look around. I'm in a situation. I'm in an environment. Feels very strange. Feels very odd. I feel off. I don't feel good. But by fucking God, I'm going to fucking make it. I am. I'm going to make it. And I'm going to make it and I'm going to do better than anybody else could possibly ever think for me. Because I deserve that. I deserve that. I want that for myself. I desire that for myself. And low-key, fuck everybody else. We're going to end up on top. There is like, when I was getting better or when I'm trying to get up, I do kind of have to, we talk about, yes, leaning into good emotions, don't lead into the negative. But like, what gives you a little ego boost? It's okay. You can have a little ego boost, especially when you need that like quick jump start to kind of then lean into the positive emotions. I personally, spiteful. It is what it is. I'm not spiteful in a biblical way where I'm evil and horrible. I'm spiteful in a way where it's like, I will do better for myself no matter what. I have to. I owe it to myself. I owe it to my haters. I owe it to the people who took advantage of me. I owe it to little Hannah. I owe it to my parents. I'm going to fucking do the thing. I'm going to do it. And I'm going to do it better than you ever could have possibly imagined. Whatever it is. Even if it's just breathing and living. Whatever it is. I'm going to fucking do it. There's too much evil in this world. There's too much hate. There's too many fucking people who want us to like suffer and die and want us to be down and out. There's too much of that. I'm not going to let that win. No, that's not happening. I'm not going to let them win. The evil of this world, no, that's not. If it's in my control, if anything's in my control, I'm not letting evil win ever. And to start, I'm taking care of myself. I'm getting up, I'm brushing the dirt off, I'm doing what I can. I can't wait to spend the rest of the year comparing life lessons to horseback riding, so prepare for that. But I do think Year of the Horse, very in theme. I think we're going to be experiencing a lot of things that I battle with, especially when I am in lessons or working with horses. And I talked last week, I did not have a good lesson. It wasn't awful. I didn't get like bucked off or like really scary situation. It was just I wasn't in tune, I wasn't connected. And I got off the horse, I got home, and I didn't feel good about myself. That was kind of like the catalyst. I was having a hard day, and then it was like, oh damn, I'm not loved. Sorry, I'm dramatic, but am I? Anyways, approaching this week's lesson, I wanted to get very like in tune with the energy I was going in with. I think I was anxious last week. I was too in my head. It was just an off day. Sometimes you just have off days. You can't really control it. It just happens. And this week I wanted to be very intentional about, okay, let's focus in, let's hone in, let's do the beneficial things that it takes to have a good day. Do the self-care, let's do the work, whatever you're fucking thinking about, whatever I've been yapping about for the past hour, all the tools, all the tricks, the journaling, whatever it may be. And instead of approaching it with the perspective of, last week sucked, I just want to do better, that lack feeling, I really approached it with the feeling of, I want this. I want to be good at this. So I'm going to do whatever it takes to get out there and have a good day today. And if it's not a good day, that's okay. I'm going to pre-forgive myself before anything happens. But I'm going to go out there and by God, I'm frustrated. I'm a little bit tired. I'm a little bit this, I'm a little bit that, but I'm going to have a good day despite it all because I owe it to myself. Spitefulness. And guess what I did? I had a good day today. It was good. I hung out for a couple extra hours. I talked with the owners. They're just like such sweet people. The vet was there taking care of a horse. He had a little bit of an eye issue. So he was sedated, drugged up, just like loving on me. It was so funny. There's many tools and tips and tricks and realizations and understandings that I can give you, okay? We've talked about them all of the various life truths that there are, which is sometimes shit sucks. We got to accept our reality. Sometimes what really is our downfall can also help us get back up again by doing the exact opposite, by engaging in those positive coping mechanisms. Sometimes removing your emotions are healthy to be able to slow down your brain and address what's causing you pain. Sometimes exerting control over our thoughts is necessary in order to then bring in those good things. Sometimes exerting control over our environment is necessary to bring in those good things. Leaning into acceptance of good and bad is important to be able to look at the entire picture fully. Sometimes feeding into ego, okay, indulging in those short dopamine boosts, but yet positive. The biggest fucking truth of them all is that we gotta keep going. You can't let the evil bastards out there win. You have to be the good in this world. And if that means, breaking down all of those fucking barriers you have in your head and accepting yourself fully, good and bad, no matter what it is, doing the hard work, putting in the hard work, you have to do it. I know. It's just a truth of life. Accept the truth for what it is. Don't put so much pressure on yourself to be perfect. Sometimes healing is always like messy and nasty and hard, and you feel like you're trudging through the dirt, and it's not the easy route, but it is the worthwhile route. Like I said, looking back, whether it's on my journal or thinking back to situations I've been in, I'm almost 27. I went to lunch with my grandma for her birthday. She was turning 84. My grandma and my dad. And she was like, oh, your birthday's coming up. How old are you turning? 24? No, but I do feel 24. I feel pretty young, thank God. And my dad was like, yeah, no, she's probably turning like what, 25, 26? I was like, I'm turning 27. And both of them, I saw like a tear form in their eye. Not because I was getting older, but because I was growing up, that I survived, that I am about to be 27. I think a lot of people in my family didn't think I'd make it there, including my dad. He was probably the most and is the most worried about me. And I think it was a really good moment of like, yeah, despite it all, I am turning 27. I am. And I'm going to turn 28 and 29 and 30. And Up until I'm fucking 84, like my grandma, who's going out to lunch with her cool ass fucking granddaughter. But looking back and like thinking over the years and the ups and the downs of it all, there is the truth of just like, it all gets better. It does. If you take the time, if you understand the situation, if you're kind to yourself, it does get better. It's never cute and sexy and self-care and bubble bath and, you know, the way the men like to write it in the rom-coms of, I'm gonna cry and eat ice cream with my face mask on and my toes out in a bubble bath with like soapy titties. Like, I mean, honestly, sounds pretty great in my fucking head. But in reality, no. Sometimes it's messy, it's hard, it's nasty. You don't look the best you've ever had, but you take that time and you take that effort and you pour it into yourself and you trudge through the fucking dirt and, you know, you dig your fingers in the mud and pull yourself back up again. It is always so worth it, and it always gets easier. It does. It's like riding a bike. I mean, like, yeah, depression's like riding a bike. But it really is. Like, the first time I really ever suffered with depression was so hard. And I suffered for years before I learned, oh my God, I can do something about this. Once I started doing that and then address the situation again when it happens and then do it again and then do it again whenever it happens to pop up, whether in my control, whether outside of my control, whatever it may be, there's going to be ups and downs to life. And the sooner you strap in that seatbelt and ride that roller coaster and do the best you can and pull yourself up and pick yourself up, the easier it gets and the less those hard times last. Okay? I think kind of like what I am going through right now, back in the day, I'd be out for the count for a couple months. Not gonna lie. And you're like, oh, that's so fucking dramatic. Yes! How many times do I have to say I'm a dramatic ass bitch? It is what it is. I don't know. I have emotional issues. Damn, like... Okay, acceptance of who I am. Let's get there, okay? Yes, accept who we are. But now, being able to be so not in control, but in tune with my emotions and not so afraid of myself, but willing to work with myself, angels and demons, I'm able to get myself out of hard places faster, to look for betterment in my life and search for it and go after it quicker, to identify it easier. And overall, that has greatly impacted how positive my quality of life has been. I think I'm a very happy individual. I think I do live a very good life. I think when I was diagnosed with depression, it was something that I was very fearful of because I assumed that it just meant, okay, great, suffer 24/7. No one wants to fucking do that. But in reality, it's granted me a lot of pleasures of not only do I get to feel these highs, but I do get to feel these lows. And yes, through hard times, I do get to understand myself better than maybe people who only have good times do. But once I realized, after I went through like a couple really challenging moments, once I realized, oh shit, I've learned like the double punch combo. I've learned my coping mechanisms. I've done the work. It's getting easier. I realized, okay, I can live with this. And I can not only just live, but really enjoy and participate in life with this diagnosis, with what maybe I struggle with. We all struggle in life. We all do. Everybody will go through it. No matter how privileged you are, no matter what you've set up for yourself, we're all going to struggle at some point. We're all going to hit a rough patch, a hard time. So hopefully I set you guys up with a little bit more ideas and ways you can kind of regroup and put yourself on the right path. I don't have all the answers. I'm not a guru. I'm a girl. But I do know what has helped me. And I wanted to really sit down and talk about it and kind of go more in depth instead of kind of maybe distracting ourselves with blowjob questions today, even though I do love those. And yes, we will get into it next episode. Don't worry. I really want to do like a sex ed episode where you guys just send me all of your questions about sex and we talk about it. Because if there's two things I really want to destigmatize in my time here on earth, it's mental health and depression and sex. Sex because it's just taboo and I think it makes people more safe to talk about it. But also depression because it really truly is a silent killer. people think, oh, I don't want to bring down the energy in the room. I don't want to talk about my problems because they're going to weigh on somebody else. I don't want to even address this side of myself because it's scary or I feel uncomfortable about it. Or no one's ever told me that depression exists and I don't know what the fuck I'm going through right now. That was me at like 13. I was like, oh my God, why? Something's wrong, but I don't know what it is. I really want to destigmatize it and bring back talking about emotions, because I have realized that this entire world has been really cut off from emotions. I think post-COVID, and I'm guilty of this, the idea perpetuated of, no, emotions are bad. We should just like follow very strictly our heart and our brain. Like, don't let someone love you. Don't love other people. Don't be vulnerable. Don't do this. Don't do that. Act this way. These people need to act this way. It's become so rigid and scary that talking about emotions has become a little bit more difficult and a little bit more taboo. But I do think talking about depression and talking about my journey really does help. And I hope you guys feel that way, because even though I'm making this as a podcast for other people to listen to, I think I am mostly doing this for myself, as a message to myself. Not only am I really trying to process in real time on a podcast, on a microphone, my journey and what I need to do and how I need to feel better, but hopefully my train of thought and my internal processing will also inspire you to do the same, okay? You do not have to suffer in silence. People want you to succeed and to grow. And if you feel like you don't have anybody, you have me. I want that for you. The only person who can create it for you is yourself. I know it's scary, but also, like, isn't it so peaceful? You're never alone in this world when you have yourself. And it's okay to want good things for yourself. It's okay to want betterment for yourself. You deserve that. Go after it. Please, I beg of you. Please, please, please. But with that being said, kind of got a little emotional there talking about 27, because I'm like looking at myself where I am now and I'm feeling very like 9-year-old Hannah right now. I went to go get my horse from the pasture, and she's like, careful, the mud out there is really fucking crazy because it rained really hard this weekend. She's like, you might lose your boots. And I was like, oh my God, yeah, the mud out in Kansas, it's almost like clay. It'll grab your shoes and like rip them off. And it reminded me of when I was younger and we were out playing. I was playing in the forest or whatever. I don't know. Whatever I did. And there was like a mud pit. So I went to go like crawl in the mud pit. I was a kid. And I got my legs stuck in the mud pit and no one could get me out. None of the kids could get me out. So my dad had to come get me out. And it was right before I was supposed to go celebrate like my grandma's birthday or something. And they had to literally hose me down in the yard because I was so covered and caked in mud. And here I am at 26, almost 27, sitting here in a cute little frilly dress with dirt caked under my fingernails and all over my legs. It's like that person, that uninhibited, completely herself, wild fucking child will always exist no matter what. And I'm glad that through self-healing and through learning about myself and understanding my emotions, not only am I able to live on and make her dreams a reality, but also I'm able to bring her back and let her keep living by persisting nonetheless. It's beautiful. It's wonderful. Life can be hard. It can be messy. It can be ugly. It can be terrifying. It can be all the negative things, but the positives make it so worth it. Sorry if this episode is a bit rambly, but I think it's what I needed. So I hope it's what you guys needed as well. We'll get back to the usual crazy questions and call-ins next week. But if you haven't heard it, I just want to say, I love you. I'm here for you. I hope you can be there for yourself. If you need help, get it. There's so many people out there who want to see you succeed. You maybe just haven't met them yet or asked for their hand in this journey of life. It is always worth getting back up, getting back on the fucking horse and keeping it going. And yes, it does get easier. With that being said, though, if you want to see more from me or if you want me to answer your question, join the Patreon, patreon.com/smokeseshotty. They get the real raw, crazy fucking spilling my guts, Hannah. Sorry about that, but also like it is what it is. It's a good time over there and I answer every single question. They're about 2.5-hour episodes at this point in time. I really go in and try and give you as many different perspectives to your question as possible, or the best answer possible. We have a good time over there. Plus many other things. Eclipse season is coming up, so you got to talk about that. An Aquarius new moon on the day of the fire horse. The lunar new year begins. I've been uploading a bunch of journal prompts as I personally have been journaling. If you want to support me or show any love, or maybe you need a little bit more community, Patreon is fantastic for that. Patreon.com/smokeseshotty. Vlogs, I fell off. We all knew that was going to happen. Like I said, that's okay. I'm being patient and being kind with myself. I know I need to do the internal work before I can kind of get back into that routine. So thank you for being patient with me. But those will be up shortly on YouTube, Hannah Marlene 444. And if you want to submit your question every week, follow me on Instagram at Hannah Marlene. But with that being said, stay sane, stay sexy, and I'll see you all so soon. Mwah.